Hey guys, Necrokelt here, and I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite bands, Suffocation. Suffocation is an American death metal band that was formed in 1988 in Long Island, New York. The band comprises vocalist Frank Mullen, guitarist Terrence Hobbs, and Guy Marcheus, drummer Dave Culross, and bassist Derek Boyer. Suffocation rose to prominence of death metal and created a blueprint for the genre for the 1990s with their 1991 debut album Effigy of the Forgotten. Suffocation have released 7 studio albums as of 2013. The band's raw death metal styles uses guttural vocals with a down-tuned guitar sound, fast, complex guitar riffs and drumming, and a sophisticated sense of songwriting. That was off Wikipedia, the very first top little line thingy, or whatever you'd want to say. But Suffocation, they're probably my favorite band, in death metal at least. Yeah, at least in death metal, they're my favorite, because they make brutal music, but not like so brutal to where you can't understand anything that's going on. It's like, it's not death metal, it's more brutal than classic death metal. Even though it is classic death metal, it's more brutal than like Death and Obituary and bands at the time. But it's not so brutal to where you're like, what the heck is this? Can a human even listen to this? Basically, and they don't have ridiculous songwriting like a lot of other bands. Other bands just, they have the stupidest lyrics sometimes. I mean, it's just some lyrics of bands are just stupid. I understand a lot of them are just meant as jokes, some of the songs, but some of them I think are actually serious. Some of those bands are serious, which is ridiculous. But Suffocation, they have brutality, but they don't take out the music actually making sense and being complex and having deeper meaning to it. Some of my favorite albums by them is Blood Oath. That's a very good album. Their newest one, Pinnacle of Bedlam. Despise the Sun is a very good EP. That might be one of my favorite EPs of all time. Despise the Sun. Some of the Black Flag EPs I like a lot. I tend to be pretty fond of EPs by bands, because even though like I don't know why I don't seem to get bored with EPs. Albums, there's so many songs on it, like sometimes it has the tendency to start repeating itself. Even Suffocation does that. I mean, all bands do it. Every single band that's ever walked the earth has repeated something, or made it sound so similar to where it sounds like it's repeating something. All bands do it. I mean, that's just something that, that happens. And a lot of times it happens too much in the metal genre, because, you can't expand. But I don't think they tend to do that a whole lot, though. Suffocation doesn't. They don't repeat too much. They have a really, really good sound to them. I don't know. It's just really good. Suffocation's death metal style is influenced by grindcore. If you don't know what grindcore is, it's completely different than deathcore. A lot of people try to put those kind of near each other, too near each other for my taste. And usually when they do that, I'm just like, facepalm. Come on, dude. Like, come on. Grindcore is Napalm Death. You can even say modern bands like Putrid Pile, Decrepit Birth, all sorts of bands. Deathcore is basically the best thing to use for deathcore. Didn't 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 didn't. I mean, it's just, I know that grindcore is just more complex than that, but similar, but it drives me crazy when they completely slow everything out down and just go done, done. Just one chord, just like that. I mean, really, deathcore has a very, to me, almost every single deathcore song sounds the same. I'm not saying I hate all deathcore bands, because I mean there's like two or three that are pretty good, or at least I'll give them credit that they have a pretty good amount of talent. I mean, all bands have talent, but some of those bands are just really lacking it, so all they do is go dun dun dun. A lot of that stuff's very annoying. And you know what's interesting about Suffocation is they're a multi-ethnic band. You don't find that a lot, especially in death metal, or metal in general. Because it's almost like certain races tend to, stay in certain genres. I mean, African Americans tend to be in rap, soulish kind of music, things with, I guess you would say, soul to it. But, and it seems like European people, or European Americans, tend to be into, heavier music. It's funny though, black people, or African Americans, invented rock and roll, but, like right when Elvis came along, we kind of took it over, which is kind of interesting because I don't see many African Americans in the rock scene now. When it comes to metal, punk, regular rock and roll music that is inspired by classic rock, it's weird how much it changes. Times change, music changes. It's like my brother had this really funny thing that he did where he was like, the Africans were like, "Ahay, ahay, 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 ahay," and now we're singing whatever that one song is, some pop song, something, maybe, or call me, or I can't, call me maybe, I think, something like that. But it's just weird how much music changes, and I'm kind of getting off subject, but that's all I wanted to talk about. It's Suffocation. Check them out. Stay metal, stay punk, whatever. Stay both if you want. I'm both. So, anyway, Suffocation. Check them out.